Yeah, but y'all down that's like, PD hoes rise, and they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hey, hero makers, legends, spreading across the land. It's your roof from Tassie, bouncing like a kid at a bunning, sausage sizzle on a Saturday morn. Season 3's lit, laptop lifestyle, dad show, hero makers. Season is born from AI funnels to social selling grit. Now it's hero making time. Strap in, this is it, yo. I've hopped Tokyo's back streets, cop the LA glow, bringing yarns from the road, mate. Watch the wisdom flow from the kitchen bench, hustle to the big global stage. We're handing you the keys, now it's time to turn the page. Oh, see heroes rise, and they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hero makers, been spreading across the land. I'm the pumped up platypus from Sunny QA, more bounce than a kid who spotted the ice cream van. You see, two Wizzy dads, mate, bringing boom source seed, helping legends step up, take the driver's seat. We're not just here to yabba raw, spin ya a line. We're handing you the mic so your voice can shine. From Tassie to Tokyo, Goldie to Perth, hero makers worldwide, lifting leaders of worth. Jeff Rule's got the coffee, double shot, mate, I'm wide. They platypus at the pool party, still floating our tide. Jeff from barbecues to boardrooms, we bring the yarns and the tools, helping legends lead strong and break all the rules. See heroes rise, and they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. And this is your season, time to take a stand. Hero makers, legends, spreading across the land. Grab your brew, your notepad, and your crew. It's the laptop lifestyle dad show. Hero Maker season, bringing heroes out of you. Patty the rule, platypus bringing the tricks. Hero Makers podcast, your daily boom source fix. And they rise again. Hey, from the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hey, hero makers, legends, spreading across the land. Heroes rise, then they rise again. From the front line to leading mates and friends. Oh, this is your season, time to take a stand. Hey, hero makers, legends, spreading across the land.
All right, here we are. Jeff Ross and Dave Miller here. G'day, Dave. How you going, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Just, it seems like I jump online and somebody likes to have a voice in the background.
G'day, Sebastian. How you going, mate?
How you going, Sammy? Good? Yes.
Yeah. Well, g'day, legends. Welcome back to our Hero Makers Daily Live. I'm Jeff Ross. We've got Dave Miller. I live down here in Launceston, Tasmania. I'm a proud father of 3 amazing boys. Dave, where are you living?
I'm in Gladstone, Central Queensland, and the father of, 2 boys that live with me, 2 kids that live in Brisbane, and 1 that lives in the Philippines.
Very, very cool. So, guys, we are your
across the world
dads. So, we are the laptop lifestyle dads, but we're also, talking about this Hero Makers conversation, right? So we launched a community called the Hero Makers Community. A pretty awesome summit that we're going to talk about here at the end of today's show that we're hosting on Thursday. But Dave, I want to talk around some of the laws of leadership. And I think a really good conversation to have is, going back to good old basics, going back to good old foundations. John Maxwell, 21 Laws of Leadership. He wrote this book and he produced the video series back in, I believe, the early 90s. But it's still relevant content for today. I actually think it's even more relevant than for today. Like, it's evergreen, right? So today we want to talk about the law of the lid and why every team rises and falls on leadership, full stop. I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments here. And what's one leadership lid that you've seen in your journey? Every leader has a lid. And when you think about it, right, it caps the limits and growth. Like, it hits a ceiling, right? And I've seen some conversations lately, and I've seen the pressure of leadership, on shoulders and stuff, whatnot. And you can see when people start to get reactive versus responsive and essentially put themselves in positions where they're not necessarily created leaders, but they've created a space where other people are dependent on them. They've created a community of followers. That's not necessarily leadership. And when we put ourselves in the position, I've done this, I've learnt the hard yards, I've been through this rodeo, I know Dave has as well, but see, when we put ourselves in these type of positions, what we're talking about here is organizational potential. It will never rise to above the leader's capacity. And if you've created an environment where people are dependent on you and you've created a community of followers, not necessarily leaders who are creating other leaders, you end up creating this bottleneck and this pressure cook situation where people will rise or fall to the level of their training. They'll rise and fall to the level of their lid. Dave, I know you've been in the construction space and you've had some pretty awesome leadership roles in that space, and now you're sort of stepping in here with me, and you're just transferring that knowledge to our community. Do you have a story you can share where an observation has taken place around this whole conversation around the law of the lid?
Yeah, well, I guess it probably law of the lid probably really emphasizes that for you to grow, you really need to concentrate on that personal development. And if you're concentrating on that personal development and growing, then obviously that can allow you to rise up, and obviously the people underneath you to rise up as well, and obviously having those people above you. But in the construction industry, I had probably a few bosses where it was quite funny, where like they were supposedly the boss, but one, they didn't know half as much as what I and some of the other people knew, and it was kind of made it difficult because you couldn't really go to them with issues or problems because they were limited in what they could actually do, or about the construction process itself. They didn't have the experience or the knowledge, so you have to do the right thing and play the game and talk to them. But you'd often find that you had to go around them at the same time to get the answers, because they were limited by their capacity.
Yeah, so the conversation we're having here and that story perfectly highlights there's different levels of leadership, and the first level of leadership is like positional leadership. It's like rank, title, that type of. The corporate structure is a really good example, right? CEO, CFO, those type of roles. And then you've got mid-tier management, you've got, lower end management, and all of that sort of thing. And in military structure is another great example of this positional type leadership. And the ones that go from good to great are the ones who get the conversation that, leadership is not about creating followers. Leadership is about creating other leaders who create other leaders. And when we can get ourselves in a position essentially where we work ourselves out of the job and we can have someone else step into that gap, that's how we go play bigger, better games. And that's how we rise the lid for everyone. There are many ways to raise the lid, but what would you say, Dave, is one of the things that have helped you to raise your level of your leadership lid?
Well, probably a couple of things, and that is, I guess, seeking personal development and growth within myself, but also, associating myself with mentors that are, further up the chain than what I am. So,
Right.
Somebody above me, so that then, they can teach me, because, if they're at the same level as I am, then they're not really going to be, able to help me grow to where I want to grow to. So, just looking for those people above, and then obviously working on your own self, personal development.
Yeah.
Otherwise, can't move, can't go, can't grow.
And I love that. So there's the self-evaluation piece, there's the self-identification piece, and you can't lead others if you can't lead yourself type sort of conversation. But then there's the humbleness piece and the, let's get out of our own way piece, realizing that we, everybody needs a mentor, everybody needs a coach to guide us and bring us up the mountain. And, maybe this is the conversation we talk about tomorrow, where we really do come like those people we allow it to be in our circle of influence, like the 5 closest people to us. They rub off on us. Their DNA becomes us. We talk like them. We show up like them. We model their behavior. And in that space, you want people who are helping you to raise your lid, helping you to rise the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just blessed at the moment, the people that I'm hanging around with. It's,
Pretty cool.
it's awesome. Yes,
Right.
very cool.
Like I'm
So
just going through
I'm
my
expecting big things from my personal development.
right, and this is the best way you can put yourself into that forced intentional growth space. Is go hang out with people who are playing bigger games. Don't be the
Exactly.
biggest fish in the small fishing pond. Go learn how to be the smallest fish in the biggest fishing pond. And
Exactly,
always
100%.
put yourselves in position for forced intentional growth. Like I'm looking
Yeah.
here at my calendar today. Like, okay, we had a conversation with the Leadership Academy group. We did the mastermind with the LATPN community with our Michael Silver's ATM GPS call. I had a call with J Lo, not J Lo the rock star, another J Lo, and
Sounds
Pablo,
good though.
talking about a new podcast called Very Caliente, and I had to learn Caliente means very hot, very spicy, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We had on another call with Akeem, who is Dr. JR's personal assistant. We then come back to Jeanette where we had a mastermind in that space, and then I hopped onto a team call with Natasha and Joseph, and we're talking about the Power and Purpose event. Then I was onto an event with Erin, and we're talking about that space, and I got onto an office call with about 20, 30 other blokes from around the world, and that was pretty cool. And then just before this, I recorded an episode with Sandy Grigsby and Michael Silvers for our very first episode for the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network show. Try to say that 10 times fast.
I'm glad you didn't say the podcast.
No, we changed it. I got in there. I overruled him. So,
Did well.
here's the thing, right? When you get to play in this arena at this level, like Dr. Joseph McClendon, right? He's one of the world's renowned top coaches in the personal development arena. I'm here as a marketer, putting in my shoes and my experience and my wisdom because I can bring something to the table, and they're just lapping up everything I have to offer. And I feel, you feel valued, you feel seen, and you go contribute and you go play a bigger game. Now, this is how we raise the lid.
Exactly. I'm just glad I got a couple of hours on the sideline so I could just work. I'm glad I got sent off.
Well, you free me up so I can go play that bigger game, and this is partnership. That's what
exactly
partnership looks like. And here's the thing, right? With this hero maker's perspective, it changes the game. See, hero makers, that style of leadership, it's not about raising your lid anymore just for yourself. It's about who's around you and how can you contribute to helping lift up other people's lids. Exactly. It's a different conversation.
Well, that's right. And the thing is you can't give what you don't have. So unless you're willing to grow and put the work and the effort in, then how you can't raise yourself. So how are you going to raise your lid and allow the people underneath you to come up underneath you? So it's one of those things where you've got to constantly work on
and here's the thing, growth. This does not happen overnight. Like if you're sitting here looking at Jeff, how do you manage all that? Well, I've been doing this for 17 years. And Dave's
hard work keeping up with him, trust me.
Right? He's been for a few years himself. And Dave's in that apprenticeship mode, and I'm in my apprenticeship mode with Michael and Mary and Joseph and all of that, right? So this is how we level up though, by playing bigger, better games. See, I haven't got time to go and binge on Netflix and go waste time watching garbage in, garbage out conversation, because I'm just going from one conversation to the next, one project to the next, and being able to keep tunnel focused on each project and go serve and play the game.
It's actually awesome these days because the only thing that I get to binge on sometimes, and it's either weird hours of the morning or weird hours of the night, is training. So more personal development anyway. So who cares about Netflix? But
there's the thing though, Dave. You've been saturated. Yes. The word that comes to mind, right, is like you're a sponge right now, and you're being saturated with all of this personal development, this leadership conversation. So you cannot help but transform and grow and step up.
Exactly.
Right.
It's been an awesome challenge, last few weeks, and that, like you said, that forced intentional growth is does wonders for your posture, does wonders for your confidence, wonders for having banter with you every afternoon as well. It's just
the level of
fun place to be.
accountability. The level of accountability playing this game is inbuilt. Like,
Yes.
you get out of that. We talked about below the line, above the line culture the other day. But when you play at this level, you cannot help but just step up. Now, there are areas in my life where I play below the line. Like, Dave, you probably are too. Like in our health, right? We're probably morbidly obese, right? So that is one area that we both need to step up and take ownership of. And I got my ass kicked on the men's mental office work call today, and it was done with love, but it called me out. And I appreciate that call out, and thanks, Ken, if you're watching. But here's the thing, right? That call out is probably, he's not doing me any justice by letting me sit there in my comfortable pain and stuff, by calling me out in the space of love and respect and in that space to play a bigger game. I've now actually started thinking and going, right, shit, maybe I do need to get serious about this. Maybe I do need to go fast. Maybe I do need to go full carnivore diet. Maybe I do need to go do these things that I know everybody's been telling me to do and fucking act on them.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a quiet whisper. It's good though, because when you're hearing it from I guess enough time from the right people, you can't help but your subconscious just starts to work.
Right. It's exactly that.
Doing something.
And this HeroMakers conversation, it changes the game completely, because it's all about empowering others, not just self-improvement. It's all about training and equipping and releasing others so your team's lid keeps rising.
Exactly.
And so it's all about, we rise together, raising ships, raise all tide, rising tides, raise all ships conversation. But my question for the audience here, Dave, is who is someone who's lifted up you lately? I'd love to know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, you're watching the live lately, let us know in the comments, who is someone who's helped you lift you up lately? Please let us know. And as we bring, sorry, Dave, where you go?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and it's the law of the leader and this leadership stuff. It doesn't only apply in business. It applies.
It's everything.
Exactly. Yep, 100%.
It's how you can be a better mate. It's how can you be a better person to society. It's how you can go be in your own fitness journey and health journey. How can you go be a better father? How can you go be a better husband? How can you go be a better business leader? It's everything.
Exactly, 100%. And that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
It's, something that helps push it along for me anyway.
Right.
Being able to grow and be better.
Yep. Yeah, and it does. It up levels us in every area of our life. Okay, some areas like my health and something I need to keep my
a bit slower in the intake on some areas,
right? But I know that it's like the rising tide, right? Now my health is starting to become important because I know I can't keep running this race with my health the way it is. So now there's a level of importance. Now there's a level of urgency. Now there's a level of intentionality to do something. And I know when I gave up smoking, when Harrison was born, I had the same level of urgency. I had the same level of intentionality. I had the same level of reason to shift and change.
Yeah. And unfortunately for us blokes, it often takes, something untoward to happen to our health and that before we actually act.
We're our own worst enemy in that space, right? Because our pride and our ego gets in the way.
Yes, and I know I'm a prime example of that. Of my health journey over the last, probably 12 months now. It's you always, plead ignorance until proven guilty, I suppose.
And it really comes back to like our one that we did the other day. We get to keep what we fight for, right?
Exactly.
So, if we don't start, Dave, I'm going to call it. If we don't start doing something about our health, mate, we're hypocrites.
Exactly right. Exactly. Well, I actually jumped on the scales the other day. I actually lost 4 kilos.
Yeah, well done.
Slowly but surely. So I gave myself I did a Joseph McLennan and gave myself a pat on the back for that one.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, mate. Well, you're keen to getting on this call with us, but appreciate you.
Well, yeah,
Dave,
exactly.
Just as one mate to another, I want to call it out here and I want to create some accountability here. We need to step into this seriously. Like, serious, like a heart attack type serious, because that's what's going to happen if we don't. And we really need to take our health seriously, mate. And I want to honor you, and I know you honor me. I'm going to actually look at my calendar. I'm actually going to set a time, and I encourage you to follow along with me on this journey. But I'm going to do fasting
at the same time.
I'm going to do fasting, and I'm going to do the carnivore diet. I've been encouraged to do the carnivore diet, and I've been encouraged to do fasting. So fast for 2 to 3 days, and then step into the carnivore diet, and do that seriously for 2 months. And and let's just go discipline, and let's hold each other account. And for our audience here too, I'm doing this publicly for a reason, because that holds a whole nother level of accountability here in this space. Now, I'm not setting us up to fail. I'm really serious about this. And Dave, I know that a goal with a plan is more likely to be achieved, but a goal with a plan with an accountability partner is the stats prove that it's going to be like 90% success rate.
Fair enough. Yep.
Dave, will you be my accountability partner?
Yeah, I might as well jump in. And I'll see how I go. I managed to not eat for 2 days not long ago, but I don't know, I'll go for 3.
I've never fasted before. This is a whole foreign
Neither have
territory.
I. It was only because I'd got out of hospital and I'd been, unwell, and I didn't eat while I was in hospital, and I didn't really feel like eating when I got home. So,
Now,
but I don't want to not feel well for the reason that I'm fasting.
Well, word of warning here, and this is probably a bit of TMI. Apparently, when we start to fast, our body's going to start processing some toxins, and it's going to be some pretty interesting things coming out.
We'll see.
Word of warning.
Looking at my stomach, there's probably a few interesting things that need to come out.
Yeah, right. And it's been brought to my attention lately that the things that we eat, and the hormones, the toxins, and the parasites, and all of that sort of shit, and this is what fasting does. It helps to clear that system out and reset the system. So, look, I've never fasted before. I'm naive and new to this space, but I'm really, really curious. And I'm at that space in my life where my health is now starting to become a really urgent priority. And I'm in that open-minded space. I'm in that open-hearted space. See, here's the thing, right? We're talking about raising the law of the lid. So we need to identify and self-evaluate and be self-aware of the skills, of the mindset, of the capacity around the lid that we have. That's the discussion that we're having now. See, there's intentionality why I went down that path. All right. And then the second thing here is a practical tip to help you to raise your lid. And we've just done it, Dave, is to commit to training, is to commit to growth. Right. So this is that, let's put the plan in place. So, it could be anything else, right? It could be your reading, it could be your coaching, it could be your practicing, whatever that is. Commit to training, commit to growth. And then here's the third practical tip that I want to leave you with, or to help you to raise your lid, is to invest in others. Mentorship, feedback, opportunities. And we've spoken about that in this conversation as well, and the power of that. So, Dave, what would you like to add to that before we wrap up?
Let me think.
Put him on the spot.
No, I guess, like you said, it's just the importance of, investing in developing your personal growth. I find that's probably one of the biggest things that's going to help you personally raise your lid. And, like you said, whether that's by, learning something new each day, or doing something different, or,
yes, sir,
investing money to be able to, pay somebody as a mentor to help, raise your lid for you, like with you. So, yeah, I think that's probably underestimated, what a good $10,000, can do for your life if you want to spend it and be,
Well, there's that conversation, but you can also, there's other ways to do it too, yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to spend a bit of money or put a lot of time, either way, it's time or money. It's always time or money. And, but you invest in yourself, like I said, if you got the time, invest the time into learning.
Well, we did an exercise just there with one of our students, right? We talked about our internal health structure, and where you go do your scale of 1 to 10 on your emotional health, on your spiritual health, on your financial health, on your relationship health, and emotional health, right? Yes. So if I look at all those 5 areas, the area that I need to work on is the physical health. Yeah. So, and I know getting that physical health more dialed in closer to a 10 will support all the others and help raise that lid. So, Dave, I'm committed to this, mate. Let's do it. We'll work out the plan. We'll work out the details, but let's make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, no
So
worries. I can't start till Monday because the missus is coming home and I've got a 5
yeah,
kilos
yeah,
of
yeah. No,
oysters.
as I said,
I got 5 kilos of oysters in the fridge I need to eat on the weekend. So they don't work for the carnivore diet at all.
all right. So Dave, I'll give you permission to be really guilty. Let's get the guilt trip out of the way, and then let's go into this clean.
Well, the ice cream out the freezer, the oysters out the freezer. And
See, that's ownership, guys. That's someone stepping up and taking ownership. I love it.
And I'm just gonna have to, I'll cook the rice, but just put it to the side.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's give this time to settle and adjust it, but let's put a dead time in. Let's do it. Let's do it seriously. So guys, I want to know if this has been resonating for you, if you like these conversations, let us know, because we're going to be doing these daily, Monday to Friday, around this time of the day, sort of probably a little bit earlier some days, anywhere sort of around 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on where our plate is. But we want to commit to showing up daily, and just sharing insights and wisdom and having a bit of a banter. But also, look, there's some selfish, reason here for a second, because I realized with my own marketing and everything that I do, right? I do this, I do that, and I wear a lot of hats. And I was forgetting to neglect our own coaching business, our own HeroMakers community. So by putting some intentionality in and accountability in and showing up here in this servant space, I now have sort of a space. I have a platform to just quickly do a plug for whatever it is, right? And so the plug that I want to give today, Dave, if you could just drop the links in the comments, please, is our HeroMakers Summit. That's coming up on Thursday, the 25th. So this week, and we're kicking off at 8 a.m. Sydney time. So you guys do the math, you work out the times. But it's going to be a 3-hour, 4-hour show where we're talking about legacy leadership. We're talking about leadership impact for our kids. Whether that you're a parent who works with kids, or you're a parent, or you're a child itself, like a teenager or something like that. This is talking about HeroMakers leadership conversation for our youth. So Dave, share the details in the link, please. It's 8 a.m. kickoff Sydney time on Thursday, the 25th. We've got about 19 amazing speakers from all around the globe. We've got Debbie Prediger showing up. We've got Nicole Cowley showing up. Myself, Jade, and Sarah are going to be hosts on the shows. Dave is going to be the amazing, awesome guy behind the scenes with the tech support. And we've got Zoe, we've got Craig, we've got Allison. We've got a huge list of speakers coming on. And we can't wait for you to join us. And this is going to be one of those conversations that is all about helping to raise our lid together. So, Dave, before we wrap up, any final words? If I missed anything, or we're all good?
No, I think we're good. I've put that link out, so jump on,
Cool.
sign up, get ready.
Brilliant.
Just another fun afternoon.
Awesome. Yeah, go have a fun afternoon, or actually, if you like gym, go to bed, go to sleep. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning for you. Remember, legends.
I was up at 1 a.m. this morning too, so I know how it feels.
What you got to do. But remember, legends, leadership is caught, not taught. Let's go out. Let's lift someone up today, and let's keep raising that lid. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.